And now Herbert Marshall as Ken Thurston, the man called X.
There you are.
Ken Thurston, New York, huh? Right. I, Monsieur Savadell, welcome you to Papeete, Tahiti.
Thanks, Salvador. By the way, what's this mine accident I heard about? Somewhere in this vicinity, wasn't it?
Terrible tragedy, Monsieur, terrible. An explosion. One of our most welcome guests, Monsieur Robert Sullivan, was lost in it. Oh, such a nice gentleman, too. So quiet, so refined, so hard-working, so...
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah. Where'd Sullivan usually hang out, you know?
Well, frequently at the Café Chinois down on the waterfront. But I do not think that you would care to patronize a place like that.
Café Chinois, huh? This the key to my room?
Oui, monsieur. Room 25. It is quite comfortable, I assure you, and if there is anything
I'll see you later, Salvador.
Oui, Monsieur Thurston, oui.
Howdy, Salvador. Looks like we got a new homesteader around these parts. Hmm?
And of just what concern is this to you, Monsieur Cook?
Let's see. What brand he put down for himself in the register? Ken Thurston. Well, that just goes to show.
To show what, Monsieur Cook?
Sabadell, I'd have swore that hombre would have signed that register just by making a X.
Yes, Master, your drink, so.
Must be some mistake, waiter. I didn't order any. Martini. With an onion in it. Wait a minute. Who ordered this for me?
Number one gentleman over there. Yes, excuse, please, excuse.
The number one gentleman. Oh, no, not again.
Hello, Mr. Thurston.
Say, gone, Selspin. I thought I'd give you the brush in Singapore.
Oh, I followed you down here. Special chartered job aeroplane. We even got here ahead of you. So here I am ready to offer you my invaluable assistance.
No, thanks, Pam.
But, Mr. Thurston...
Bonsoir, monsieur. You are enjoying the pleasures of Chinois. Oui?
I wasn't, but things are beginning to look brighter.
Hello, baby. Sit down and converse with us. Even talk, maybe.
Yes. Majda would like to talk. About phosphate mines, Mr. Thurston.
Phosphate mines?
The door to your right. It leads to a small garden. I shall meet you there in 2 minutes' time.
Mr. Thurston, you surprise even me. Such a fast worker I never saw. Well, shall we go out to the garden?
See you later, Pagan.
Huh? But, Mr. Thurston. Oh, well. Waiter, take back this martini.
Okay, Nasha. What's this all about?
Monsieur Thurston, Bart Sullivan had said to me many times, if anything should happen to him, I was to get in touch with you.
Did he tell you why he thought something might happen to him?
No, monsieur. I only know he was worried about the phosphate mine. And I am certain he did not die by accident.
Well, so am I. Who else might know something about this?
There was one man. Bob would speak with him quite often at Chinois. Professor Powers.
Powers? Who's Professor Powers?
He owns a plantation back in the hills, near the mine. They had many long talks together. Perhaps he knows something.
That all?
No. There is another. A man who comes from...
No, hold it, Nasha. Something moving over there. Quiet now. Marshall, you hurt.
Sure. Not mine. The man.
Yes, Marjorie. What man?
Tall man. Texas.
Texas?
Hey.
Nasca.
Wow. Looks like the gal got killed, don't it? Reckon maybe those shots were meant for you, Mr. X?
Mr. Thurston, why do we have to ride through this jungle anyway?
This is the road to Professor Power's plantation and the phosphate mine.
But why do we have to go to these places tonight?
That Texan wasn't hanging around just for the fun of it. There's something big going on around here. We've got to find out what it is fast.
Mr. Thurston, you got this Johnny Cook all wrong. He wouldn't do.
All right, Pagan, let's have it. What do you know about him?
Well, it was like this. I wanted to come to Tahiti to help you, you understand? But I had a little problem.
Yeah, you were broke. Go on.
Yes, well, there was this seaplane at the docks. And I heard Johnny Cook say he was flying here. So?
I see. How much is Cook paying you to keep an eye on me?
Mr. Thurston.
All right, Pagan. Now, there's the mine entrance up ahead. We'll go the rest of the way on foot.
But, Mr. Thurston, I don't get it. Why should we... Oops!
Stop right there, gentlemen.
Well, a little late in the season for manhunting, isn't it? Who are you?
You can forget about my name. If you're thinking of entering the mine tonight, forget about that, too. Go on, get away from here. And if you think I don't mean that...
Mr. Riggs. The mine. It's gone.
Yeah, Pagan, buried. Under hundreds of tons of rock.
Look at that girl. She's coming towards us. Mr. Thurston, with that cannon in her hand.
Well, gentlemen, the mine is completely destroyed. Bob Sullivan is dead. Najda's dead. Somebody's guilty, and somebody is going to pay.
Any idea who?
Yes, a very good one. And I'm looking at him right now. Mr. X.
Europe in desperate need of phosphates to help ease the critical world food shortage, Ken Thurston's in Tahiti investigating a series of so-called accidents occurring to a big phosphate mine.
Well, anyone else you'd like to blame for this mine explosion, Mr. X?
No, but it looks as though I'd better come up with someone. Yes, just as soon as I take that rifle away from you.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. That's better.
I should have killed you first and asked questions afterwards.
Uh-huh. That's Johnny Cook's advice?
Johnny told me that I suppose you think you're pretty smart.
Who are you?
Maida Boyd. I'm Professor Power's niece.
What's that supposed to tell me?
Everything or nothing? Any other questions?
A couple. But they can wait.
And if you're quite through with me, I think I'd like to leave.
Sure, anything you say.
Thanks. All right, boy.
I'll be seeing you around, Mr. Thurston. The next time I won't take any chances.
Why, it is Monsieur Thurston. Come in, please. Come in.
Thanks, Salvador. What are you doing here, Professor Powers?
Well, my nightly chess game with the professor, monsieur. It is delightful relaxation after my trying days at the hotel.
Where is it, Sabadell? Guest?
Ah, mais oui. Monsieur Thurston, Professor Powers.
Huh? Sorry to interrupt your game, but I thought you'd like to know about the phosphate mine next door to you. Someone blew it up a little while ago.
Blew up the...
Oh, monsieur, what are you saying?
This is unbelievable.
Well, don't tell me you didn't hear the explosion.
Well, we did hear it, monsieur, but we mistook it for thunder. A storm brewing in the hills.
Yes.
There's a storm brewing, all right, Sabadell. Only it isn't in the hills. It's among the hungry people in this world. By the way, you're a physics professor, aren't you, Powers?
Yes, I was before I retired. But how'd you know?
The door to your laboratory is open. I see you have a cathode ray tube and a Geiger counter in there. Well, sorry to disturb your game, gentlemen. I'll let you figure out your next move in peace, Professor. Though even a child could tell that almost any move you make would put him in checkmate. Good night, Sabadell. Go straight to the hotel, Pagon. If the chief calls before I get back about a cablegram I sent him, you take the message for me, see?
Ha! Can always depend on the Selchman.
Oh, yeah.
But where are you going?
Down to the harbor.
Harbor? There's nothing down there but boats.
And Johnny Cook's seaplane. Strange kind of safe to have aboard a seaplane.
Well, howdy, Thurston.
Hello, Cook. I didn't expect you back so soon.
Yeah, I reckon.
Some time since I've seen a safe made of lead instead of steel.
Yeah, that's right. Now, why would a man want a safe made of lead, you reckon?
If you'll put down that 45 for a minute, we can talk it over.
I don't know if I rightly should, Thurston. What do you think, Maida?
Maida?
That's right, mister.
Oh, that was right neat, honey, right neat.
Johnny, what was he doing here?
I'll tell you later, sugar. Got a little old job to do first.
Job?
Yeah, wait till I tote him over to the cargo door. No. There. Mighty peaceful out yonder in the harbor, Thurston. I reckon maybe you could sleep right comfortable out there.
Mr. Thurston residence, a hotel room, that is.
A call for Monsieur Thurston from les États-Unis. Go ahead, please.
Hello? Hello, that's you, Ken?
Oh, hello, Mr. Chief. How's the weather in New York?
I'll take that call, Pagon.
Huh? Oh, sure, Mr. Thurston. Hey, you're so slopping wet. What happened?
I was lucky. Miss Boyd didn't hit hard enough.
Huh?
Hello, Chief. What have you got for me on Johnny Cook?
Ken, he's a former pilot of the 8th Air Force, Thunderbird Squadron.
Thunderbird. That's the one Bob Sullivan flew in. That may explain a lot of things.
Not to me, it doesn't. Anyway, since the war, he's been flying a freelance cargo plane out of Tahiti. That's about all I have right now. What about you?
Things are plenty hot here. Sounds like we've got listeners, Chief. I'll call you later. So long. Pagon, what do you know about that lead safe Johnny brought back from Singapore?
Safe? Oh, you mean the one Professor Powers wanted?
Powers? Sure. I should have known. It all ties in.
Huh? What ties in with what?
Phony chess games, Geiger counters, Phosphate mines. Come on, Pagum. We're going back to that plantation.
Let's go back to the hotel, Mr. Thurston. Nobody's home here.
With all those lights burning, maybe the door. Yeah. Let's go in.
Joint's empty.
Let's try the laboratory.
Look at all this junk. Tubes, bottles, gas burners. What a mess. I never... Mr. X, that old shoe lying under the bench. There's a foot in it.
Yeah. Professor Powers' foot. He's dead, Pagum.
But who killed him and why?
Maybe that great powder on his shoes can tell us.
So that's where all those dusty footprints came from. But why are you tasting it, Mr. Thurston? It's only dust.
Phosphate salt. Powers was in that mine tonight.
But the entrance was blown to pieces. How could he get in?
That wouldn't be tough if there was another entrance from this plantation. Now, if we can follow those footprints. Wait till I take this gadget with me. Okay, let's go.
Mr. Thurston, what are we going to do with that little box?
Pagum, we're going to play a detective.
Why did we have to come down in this hotel underground? Anyways, just because we found a tunnel in the hillside doesn't mean we have to... That sound, what was it? What was that? It's coming from that box you're carrying. A time bomb. You're carrying a time bomb. It's going to explode.
Pagum, this is a Geiger counter. Fixed that way in the presence of radioactivity. And it's done its detecting job for us. I'll shut it off.
Detecting job? What did that thing detect?
Take a look at the walls of that crosscut opening into this tunnel.
Okay, Mr. X, I'm looking. So what?
That's pitchblende. The ore that contains radium.
Radium.
That's why the Geiger counter clicked. And that's why somebody sabotaged this mine.
It is?
To gain control of that ore. And that's the reason for Professor Powers' lead safe. It's the only way you can handle that stuff. He was... Quiet, Mr. Quiet.
Mr. X, somebody's down here with us. He's coming this way.
Yeah. Turn off that flashlight. Hello, Maida.
Ken Thurston.
That's right. What are you doing down here? Trying to find out why your uncle was so interested in this mine?
Yes, I was. What difference does that make?
It don't make any. We caught you cold-handed looking for this radio ore. She's the guilty one, Mr. Thurston. Let's take her away.
Not so fast, Pagon. She's not guilty of anything.
Huh? But at the mine where she shot us and knocking you out. And now...
She was trying to protect the mine and her uncle.
Huh? Well, then it's like I said all the time, Johnny Cook.
Wrong again, Pagon. It was Mr. Sabadell.
What?
Sabadell, the hotel clerk?
That is quite correct, monsieur.
Mr. Sabadell, what are you...
Mr. X, it's him.
Do not move, any of you. You will notice I have a gun in my hand. I can shoot quite straight with it, I assure you.
Not darn Professor Powers found that out.
Quite so. But then Powers had outlived his usefulness to me.
Yeah. After he'd analyzed the pitchblende for you and discovered it held more than radium.
Then you know what else it contained, Monsieur Thurston?
Sabadell, pitchblende's just a common name for oxide of uranium.
Uranium?
That's right, Maida. That's why I was willing to kill for it. Bob Sullivan, Najda, Powers.
Oui, monsieur, and now it is your turn.
Not this time, Sabadell. This thing's too big to let you get away with it. Let's have that gun.
Do not be an heroic fool, Thurston. You'll be dead long before you reach me.
Well, I'm going to try. Let me have it, Sabadell.
Very well, monsieur, but not the way you wish. Now that you're close enough so I cannot possibly miss.
Well, howdy. Looks like I potted me a genuine ring-tailed skunk.
Yeah. Thanks, Cook. That was good shooting. I figured Maida wouldn't be down here alone.
Huh? Mr. Thurston, you're alive. It's that Sabadell who's dead.
Ain't it the truth?
You heard, Johnny. We were wrong about Mr. Thurston. Wrong all the time.
We sure were, honey, but Bob Sullivan told me to keep an eye open for Ken Thurston, the man called X. How was I to know he meant a pure blood? Instead of being the maverick, I figured he'd murdered him.
Oh, so you took things in your own hands. Made your own rules. Just like Sabadell did. That's no good, Johnny. This world of ours has got too small and shaky for any man to play the game his own way, according to his own rules. Whether the stakes are food or uranium, there's only one way a game that it'll end, Johnny. In a checkmate for all of us.